Well, hello guys. Welcome back. Got a new commander deck to show you. We have Aloy, Savior of Meridian. I don't know if you guys have played the Horizon game for PlayStation. It's an exclusive for the PlayStation. It's a great game. So she's got Vigilance Reach, and whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, discover X, where X is the greatest power among them. So, pretty sweet. And I'll try to do my best with the cards. My wrist has got as you can tell, a little uh, swelling going on here. I'll try to turn them over and get them as clear as possible. All right, we got Gilded Goose to start her off. Yeah, create a food token, sack it, add 1 mana of any color, or use it to sack and gain 3 life. But hey, it creates artifacts, and we need artifact creatures to attack for Aloy's ability to go off. So, Gilded Goose is in. Assaultron Invader. Alright, we have, when he enters with X +1/+1 counters. And you can pay 4 and put a +1/+1 counter on him. And you can remove a counter from him, and it'll deal 1 damage to any target. Like that, from Fallout. Got Spell Skite. Yeah. Oh, you targeting me? Oh, is this gonna kill you? Is this what's gonna kill you? Oh, well, change it to this. Sorry. So you can just change the target of a spell or ability to Spellkite to save one of your permanents. All right, next up we've got Arcbound Ravager. Sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on him. And he's got modular 1. So it enters with a +1/+1 counter. And when Ravager dies, you can put its +1/+1 counters on target artifact creature. So, never let those counters go to waste. We have Steel Overseer from the Fallout set. Tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. So, nice Vault Tech there. We got Drafna, founder of Latinam. From pay 2, return target artifact you control to its owner's hand. So if someone's destroying it, you can try to save it by paying 2. And then you can cast an artifact and then pay 3 and tap, and then copy that artifact spell. So you just make a token of it, basically. Seymour Guado. So here we have, whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. You can pay 7, look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you can put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. So, pretty sweet. Nice artwork. Yeah, Seymour dealt with you in Final Fantasy X. You are a waste of space. Get him out of here. But a cool character, nonetheless. We have Biomancer's Familiar. So we got a 2/2 mutant. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. So Seymour here, his ability would cost 5 total, so would help lower the cost of that. And you can tap, and the next time target creature adapts this turn, it adapts as though it had no +1/+1 counters on it. So, hey, adapt again. Enjoy. There we go. Alright. Next up, we got Iron Spider Stark Upgrade. Hey, we got an order. Tony Stank. Is that it? Tony Stank? Yeah, this is Tony Stank. Here, you can tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact, creature, and/or vehicle you control. And you can pay 2 and remove 2 +1/+1 counters and draw a card. So we have the Scrap Trawler. Whenever it or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser converted mana cost. Alright. Emery, Lurker of the Lock. It costs 1 less for each artifact you control. So if you have 2 artifacts, pay a blue. When it enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. So put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. And you can tap it, choose target artifact card in your graveyard, and you can cast that card this turn. And you'll see why I have this in there. There's a lot of sack abilities for artifacts to go get artifacts. So he's a good one to put in. At least I think. Thunderous Velocipede. Like, what the hell? Like, look at this thing. So we got a vehicle here. Each other vehicle and creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if its mana value is 4 or less. Otherwise, it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters. So, cast a spell with, mana value 5 or greater, 3 counters go on it. Enjoy. Anything less than that, for a vehicle or creature, you get 1 +1/+1 counter. So those counters work well when you have abilities like, you can pay to remove a counter, uh, even the Assaultron Invader. If you remove a +1/+1 counter, so just put some counters on, do some stuff. All right, we got Museo, Visionary Architect. He's from Conspiracy. You can pay 4 tap, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the highest converted mana cost among artifacts you control. And then you can reveal an artifact card from among them and just throw it onto the battlefield. Like, here you go, enjoy. Enjoy it. Yeah. Alright, we got Shardless Agent. So a 2/2 human rogue, and it has Cascade. So when you cast this for 3, let's see, can you focus camera? Hello? Maybe? No, you can't. It's impossible. Okay. So when you Cascade means whenever you cast a spell. So if I cast this for 3, you reveal the top cards of your library. And once you get to a card that has converted mana cost 2 or less, you can cast it for free, basically. Then you put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library. Silent Arbiter. No more than one creature can attack each combat. No more than one creature can block each combat. Well, to play Aloy's ability, I only need one artifact creature to attack. So, oh, you got a whole armada over there? You're gonna attack me with everything? Uh, Send one of them, you know? And then, oh, wait. Disenchant, natural. Oh, CP. It was a good idea, but yeah, no. See it. That's just the way the game goes. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Solemn simulacrum. Yeah, how's that for a tongue twister? When it enters, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and whenever it dies, you may draw a card. Why not? You know? Ovaya, Automech Artisan. Each creature that's attacking one or more of your opponents has trample, so that's nice. You can pay a green tap, put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield, and if you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. So, yeah, I like her. That's nice. Phyrexian Metamorph. So we got like a clone here. You can pay 3 and then just pay 2 life for this blue. And then it'll enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield. Master Transmuter. You can pay a blue and tap and return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. And then you can put an artifact card from your hand into play. So I like this because you can pay 1, tap. You can save an artifact if it's getting destroyed or something. Return it to your hand. And then you can put like a higher converted mana cost artifact card from your hand back onto the battlefield. So she is a master. Yes, she is. Padine, Console of Innovation. Artifacts you control have hexproof. Oh, you want to target one of my artifacts? Oh, are you one of my opponents? Oh, you are? You can't do that. Edit. Bye bye. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest mana value or tied for the highest mana value, draw a card. Thank you. I draw. Tara Branford, otherwise known as Urza, Lord High Artificer. So when it enters, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this token gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap an untapped artifact you control to add a blue to your mana pool. And then you can pay 5, shuffle your library, then exile the top card, and then you can play it until end of turn without paying its mana cost. So, just a fun idea to shuffle, get things together, and oh look, a Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, what are the chances? And then cast it for free. That's very fun. Ow. Okay. Ow. Karn, Legacy Reforged. So his power and toughness are each equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, add a colorless for each artifact you control. And you can only spend that mana to cast artifact spells. So, and then you don't lose it as uh, steps and phases in. So that's cool. You get to keep it. Save it for later. Research Thief, a 3/3 flash with flying. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Cyberdrive Awakener, 4/4 flyer. Other artifact creatures you control have flying. And whenever it enters the battlefield until end of turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4, which would also give it flying. So, turn your Soul Ring or, whatever artifact you got out there that's not a creature into a 4/4 flyer. Kappa Cannoneer. Alright, so it has Improvise, which means you can tap any number of artifacts you control, and it'll pay for one of its casting cost as you do that. It's got Ward 4, so it can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, or it'll be countered unless they pay 4 if they target it. And then whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it can't be blocked this turn. Thunderjaw. This is another one of the Horizon Secret Lair cards. When this creature enters, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. Fighting these things in the game, so much fun. I would use the freeze or the frost to like freeze it, and then I just go to town with the heavy damage weapons. And once you rip all this stuff off and you get into the inside, then that's when you really start taking his health down. Such a fun game. We got Platinum Imperion. Hello? Focus, please. Sometime. There you go. Your life total can't change. So, oh, you hit me for 100? You gotta get rid of him first. My life can't change, so. Are you done? Okay, good. And then also, Swords to Plowshares, so see a piece. Cool, I'll gain 8 life. Awesome. Inkwell Leviathan, a 7/11 Island Walk Trample Shroud. So that's nice. If an opponent controls an island, it's unblockable. That's what Island Walk means. Shroud means it can't be the target of spells or abilities by your opponents and yourself. And Trample means that any damage above whatever the toughness is of the blocking creatures, if it's over that, it'll roll over to the player. So, why not throw it in there? Darksteel Colossus. Just an 11/11 trample, indestructible, and if he ever goes into the graveyard from anywhere, just put him back in your library. Give him another shot. That's all we're asking here. Ugh. Alright, we have Blightsteel Colossus. This is from the Horizon Secret Lair. I have no idea what that thing is. I mean, yeah, its name's right here. It's the Horus, whatever, War 7. But I mean, sick art. I do remember seeing it in the game. I believe it was the second Horizon game, the Forbidden West, which had this in it. But yeah, a Blightsteel Colossus, 11/11, Trample, Indestructible, Infect, and if you get 10 or more poison counters, that's a GG. So that's what Infect does. You'll get poison counters instead of combat damage. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Hey, create a food token. And there's an artifact, so you can gain some life with it. You can turn an artifact or creature into a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3 with no abilities if you'd like. Or you can exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. So if I can create a food token, and then I'll just exchange that food token with a creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less, give me that. That's just a nice card you played. Thank you. So that's going to be all for the creatures and planeswalkers for Aloy. Here we have Soul Ring, and we have Sonic here. You know, an adventure's no fun if it's too easy. Alright, well, where's Knuckles and Tails at? Yeah, so, classic game. Got Brainstone, pay 2 tap, sacrifice it, brainstorm, basically. Draw 3 cards, and then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Basilisk Collar, a pay 1 equipment, and equipped creature gets Death Touch and Lifelink. Regala's Wrath, one of the bows you can equip to Aloy and Horizon. Equipped creature has Vigilance, and whenever an artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. So, if you got one of those indestructible creatures out there, there's a board wipe, destroy all creatures, put all those counters on that indestructible one. Thanks a lot, Bo. That a baby. Emerald Medallion, green spells you cast cost 1 less. We'll take that. Sapphire Medallion, blue spells cost 1 less. Misleading Signpost. I like this one a lot. So it's a pay 3 artifact. It has flash. Can I get it to focus? What's going on? When it enters the battlefield during the declare attacker step, you may reselect which player or permanent target attacking creature is attacking. So if someone's about to hit me with a 90/90 trample, oh no, I'm gonna die. Well, I'll play this artifact and then, hey, your old boy, Melvin over there is gonna take it instead. Oh, that sucks. Uthros Research Craft. So here's a spacecraft artifact. It has station, so you can tap a creature you control as a sorcery, and you can put charge counters on this equal to its power. So once you get 3 charge counters on it, whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card, and then you put a charge counter on this artifact. Once you get to 12 charge counters, it's an 08 flying, and it gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. So you cast an artifact spell, you can draw it. If you got the 3 charge counters on it, then you can turn it into a creature when you get to 12. Repurposing Bay. Can pay 2, tap, sacrifice another artifact, and go get an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact mana value, and put that card onto the battlefield. So I would like to exchange this for this one. That's all it is. Insight Engine. Pay 2, tap, put a charge counter on this artifact, then draw a card for each charge counter on it. So the more you put on, the more you draw. Lithoform Engine. You can pay 2, tap, and copy an activated or triggered ability you control. You can pay 3, tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. And you can pay 4, tap, and copy target permanent spell you control. Now when you copy target activated ability, that's a tap ability. If you copy a triggered ability, that uses the words when, whenever, and as. So Aloy here says whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack. So once I do that, I can pay 2 and tap. And I can do this Discover X again. See how that works? That's just nice. Yeah, and then, somebody plays a Shatterstorm and all artifacts go bye-bye. I'm gonna scoop. Neverrinal's Disc. Vinny Rolls? I don't really know how to say that. So it enters the battlefield tapped, and you can pay 1 tap and destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So if your game's not going that well, you know, it's not looking too good for you. Well, that's not looking good for anybody. Let's start over. Birthing Pod. Can pay 2, tap, sacrifice a creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost, put it onto the battlefield. So, can only do that as a sorcery. If that could be done at instant speed, I mean, that'd be a mythic. But Ugin's Nexus. If a player would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. So I like this because I can sack it for any of my sack artifact abilities. If it would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, instead exile it and take an extra turn. So just an extra turn artifact, I'll sack it, CPs, I'll take an extra turn. The Walls of Ba Sang Si. A 0/30 defender wall. Other permanents you control have indestructible. So, just the blocker. Make everything else an indestructible blocker. So that's it for the artifacts. We have Training Grounds. Activated abilities cost 2 less to activate. So that works good with Seymour and some of the other ones that you have to pay something like they'll, um, you can pay 2 instead of the 4 for that. And just something to lower the cost so you can get to do more stuff, hopefully. Family's Favor. Now this one, I'm gonna skip past this one. But since Aloy's ability, you have to attack with an artifact creature to do it, So this enchantment, even though it's not an artifact, whenever you attack, put a shield counter on target attacking creature until end of turn it gains. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, remove a shield counter from it. If you do, draw a card. So if the creature blocks it, when I attack and I put a shield counter on it, if the creature blocks it, if it would kill it or anything or deal damage to it, I just remove the shield counter from it instead and it still stays alive. Alright, we got Farseek. There's Aloy perched up on, oh, I forget the name of those things. Those, the like, brontosauruses in the game. But, yeah, it helps you scout out. And you get to see more of the map once you get on top. So, go get your plains or island, swamp, or mountain card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Cultivate. And go get 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, and put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other one into your hand and shuffle. Ramp it up. Kadama's Reach. Same thing. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those, put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. Then shuffle. So we're just pump up the jam. Pump it up. That's all this is. We're just ramping up the lands. We're trying to get this deck a going. Here we have Fabricate, a Secret Layer Sonic card. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle it. So, nice going, Tails. We need it. Consuming Tide. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control, and then you return all other non-land permanents not chosen this way to their owner's hand. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. So, did you got more in your hand? You do too? Okay, I'll draw 2. You know, whatever, however many opponents you have. Hide on the Ceiling. So we have an instant with a pay X here. You can exile X target artifacts and or creatures. Return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So just a way to blink. You know, save artifacts or creatures if they're going to get destroyed. You know, but hey, this gets counter spell. Oh yeah, oh, scoop CPs. Heroic Intervention. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So, got Growth Spiral. Draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's very nice when it's instant speed. Beast Within. Destroy target permanent. And give that permanent's controller a 3/3 green beast creature token. So, oh, you got something amazing. Something that's just gonna annihilate everyone. Hey, make it a 3/3 green beast and keep the change. Yes. Thirst for Knowledge. Draw 3 cards. Then discard 2 cards from your hand unless you discard an artifact card. So, I like this draw card because it's an instant, but you know, with the amount of artifacts in this deck, you can just discard 1, so you basically get to draw 2 cards at instant speed for 3. Repudiate and replicate. So you can counter target activated or triggered ability. That's not a mana ability. Or you can create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Darksteel Colossus, Blightsteel Colossus. Hey, I'll pay 3. Here's the token of it. You know, 2 11/11 trample indestructibles. Hasta la vista, baby. Here we have Cyto Shape. Now, let's say I got Gilded Goose out, right? I got Gilded Goose out and a Blightsteel Colossus. And I'm gonna attack one person with Gilded Goose and the other with the Blightsteel. And they go, well, I'll block your Gilded Goose with my 4/4, it's dead. And then I play Cyto Shape, and I go, well, Gilded Goose becomes a copy of Blightsteel Colossus, so it's an 11/11 trample, infect, indestructible. So it runs past your 4/4, and you would get 7 poison counters. But you would take no damage. So Cyto Shape, that's just this is a cool, cat in the hat, trick card. Hopefully you got something good. Hopefully it's the right time you can play it. I thought about not keeping this in the deck, but I like it. Weir of Invention. So you can improvise, so tap any number of artifacts to pay for 1 colorless. And you can search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. So, what artifact do I need? Oh, it's this one? Here it is. Desynchronization. This is from Assassin's Creed. Return each non-land permanent that's not historic to its owner's hand. So basically anything that's not legendary, that's not an artifact, and that's not a saga. And that's not a land. So and we have, last but not least, Evacuation. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Oh, you got your army, you're ready to go. Shit's going down. I'm about to lose the game. Put them all back in your hand and let's keep playing. See how this goes. So that's it for the spells, and for the lands, we have Master Emerald Shrine. This is the Sonic Command Tower. Nice emerald there. And the Sonic movies were great too. We got Spire of Industry. Can add a colorless, or you can tap, pay 1 life, and add 1 mana of any color, so green or blue. But you can only do that ability if you control an artifact. Hall of Tagzin. Can add a colorless, you can pay 1 tap, add 1 mana of any color, and you can pay 4 and tap and create a tapped Power Stone token. So that's an artifact token where you can tap it and add a colorless to cast artifact spells only. Breeding Pool. Gotta have those shock lands. Flooded Grove. It's from Final Fantasy X. The romantic scene between Titus and Yuna. Temple of Mystery. Enters tap, but you can scry 1. So look at the top card of your library, and if you don't need that card the next turn, or it's not going to help you out, in the current situation, put it on the bottom of your library, and hopefully the next card is something you need. Hinterland Harbor. It enters tapped unless you control a forest or an island. Botanical Sanctum. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So, if you get this one early, it's a free dual land right away. Ow. Vine Glimmer Snarl. So when it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a forest or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So hopefully I got an island or a forest card in my hand. I can reveal it and have a dual land right away. Restless Vinestalk. So this enters tapped. You can add a green or blue, and you can pay 5, and it'll become a 5/5 green and blue plant creature token, or not token, a plant creature with trample. It's still a land. And then whenever it attacks, up to one other target creature has base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. So, yeah. This is an actual card. It's not a token. I don't know why I said that. See a piece. Lumbering Falls. So here's one you can also turn into a creature. You can pay 4 until end of turn. It becomes a 3/3 green and blue elemental creature token. I did it again. It's not a token, dude. It's not a token. Get real. 3/3 green and blue elemental creature with hexproof. It's still a land. I don't know where the token's coming from. This isn't a token deck, y'all. Okay? Bear with me. Yavimaya Coast. So, nice land. Doesn't enter tapped. You can get a green or a blue, but at the cost of 1 damage. So, Below Rush Verge. Tap add a blue, and you can tap add a green, but only if you control a forest or an island. Balam Garden, CD Academy. So this is from Final Fantasy VIII. That was the first Final Fantasy game I played. It was for PlayStation 1. It had 4 discs. Took me so long to beat it, but was a great game. And the game itself actually had a card game in it that you played. And then if you beat your opponent, you could pick one of their cards to keep. And they would all have their own amazing card. Some of the cards would be characters from the game. So you can pay 7 and transform this land. It costs 1 less to activate for each other town you control. This is the only town, so it's not going to cost any less, except something else makes it cost less. And then if you transform it, it's Balam Garden Airborne. And it's a 5/4 flyer with crew 1, so you can tap a creature with power 1 to turn it into a creature. And whenever it attacks, draw a card. So, just not like, hey, this is an artifact deck. Hey, it's blue-green. You know, I can turn it into a creature I can attack. I can get Aloy's ability. Balam Garden, welcome to the deck. Tanglepool Bridge. It's a artifact land. It enters tap, which sucks, but it's indestructible. and it's a dual land, so green or blue. Bark Channel Pathway, can tap at a green. So I believe at the time you play this, you have to choose one or the other at the time you put it onto the battlefield. So, just whatever land you may need at the time, play it as is. Evendo, Waking Haven. So this is a planet land. It has station, so tap another creature you control, put charge counters equal to its power onto this planet, and you can only do it as a sorcery. And once you get to 12 charge counters on it, you can pay a green tap, and you can add a green for each creature you control. So I'll pay a green tap and Gaia's Cradle, basically, if I can get 12 charge counters or more on this. So I know in this deck I'm missing, I don't have any Cyclonic Rifts. That's a must for any blue deck. I don't know why you wouldn't have a Cyclonic Rift. I just don't have one yet, if you're wondering. And I also don't have the other planet land, the Uthros mythic land. I need to get that one as well. That does the same thing as this, except you pay a blue and tap, and you can add a blue for each artifact you control. So I need to get one more of those to put in here, and it'll be done. And if you guys have any, if you want to put in the comments like what I should take out of the cards you've seen so far to put Cyclonic Rift in, let me know. I'm all ears. We've got the Shire. Enters tapped unless you control a legendary creature. And you can tap at a green. And you can pay 2 tap and tap an untapped creature you control and create a food token, which is an artifact, which you can pay 2 and tap, sacrifice it to gain 3 life. So, you're late. A wizard is never late. So, yeah. Such a good movie, Lord of the Rings. Oron Reef, the Vast Wood. So, enters tap, which sucks. Bow. Can tap at a green, or you can tap and put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that enters the battlefield this turn. Tree of Tales. Artifact land. Otawara, Soaring City. So it has channel. Can pay 4, discard it, and you can return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. And the channel ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So if you got 3 legendary creatures out, you can pay a blue, put it in your graveyard by discarding it, and return that ridiculous creature or whatever to your opponent's hand. Enjoy. Archway of Innovation. So it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island. And you can pay a blue and tap. The next spell you cast this turn has Improvise. So that's where you tap your artifacts to pay for 1 colorless mana of the spell. Seat of the Synod. Artifact land for blue. Inventor's Fair. So at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. You can add a colorless, and you can pay 4, tap, and sack it to search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand. So, you can only do that if you control 3 or more artifacts. So, Metalcraft, basically, for that ability. Mirex. This is a sphere land. Can add a colorless. You can add 1 mana of any color only if it entered the battlefield this turn. So it's a 1 and done. And you can pay 3 tap, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and it can't block. So just a way to make a toxic artifact. Karn's Bastion. Add a colorless or pay 4 tap to proliferate. So any number of counters on permanents or players, you get to choose them, and you can put one on them if you'd like. Reliquary Tower. You have no maximum hand size, so got 50 cards in your hand. Try to look at them all. Ghost Quarter. Someone's got a ridiculous non-basic land out there. Get rid of it. See a piece. Go get a basic land. Enjoy. Phyrexia's Core. Add a colorless, and you can pay 1 tap and sack an artifact to gain 1 life. Buried Ruin. Can add a colorless or pay 2 tap and sacrifice it to return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And then I also need that land, Tolarian Depths, or whatever. It's the one you can pay 2 tap and return an artifact card from your graveyard to the top of your library. I need to get that land as well for this deck. I don't have one currently. But again, you guys can mention in the comments, you know, what land to take out, what you would take out to put that land in. And then for our basic lands, I went with the Tarkir Dragonstorm because some of these look like some of the places in Horizon when you're walking around. They didn't have dragons, but they did have flying, you know, mechanical birds flying around. So I thought these were cool. So 3 of each kind for that. And that's going to do it for Aloy here. Savior of Meridian. Really great game all around. I mean, it just... I'd like to play it again, actually. But I have Xbox now. I do not have PlayStation. I can hook my old one up, but not at the moment. So the first one was way better than the second one, I think, in the story. As far as story goes, the second one had way better graphics. Um, but yeah, and that's it. Hopefully I'll get to play it soon. See how it does. Um, I thank you guys for watching. You know, be sure to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You know, put a smile on somebody's face, make them laugh, spread joy in the world. And until I make another deck, you guys have a good one.